All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 24. Colby, second attempt. I was filming this yesterday, and then while I was sitting here talking and just talking, I wasn't feeling very good. So I had to step outside for a little bit. I feel much better today. I feel ready to go. We're going to talk about what we talked about yesterday because I deleted that video. That thing's not going to be on the interwebs no more. So I just really want to just get back to talking about everything that we talked about yesterday. It is episode 24. I am your host, Brat Jackson. Chad Le Gepette behind the screen. The doggies are at their cousins. Babe is at the house. So it's just me. It's just me and an old episode of WCW Monday Night Nitro. Yeah, I think this is when the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan were feuding. Who remembers that classic feud in WCW? Anyways, we're going to get right back to the show. No Coke Zero, no anything. Just going to jump back to the show because, you know, we got a big day today. We're going to go see the Christmas Lights Festival thing that's somewhere around here. I am live. So we need to talk about, first off, the fallout of John Cena's retirement. Now, a lot of people are upset about it. You know, I'm reading, I'm watching, I'm listening to a lot of people saying that this was a wrong move to lose, to quit, to choke out to Gunter. And I gotta say, I agree. For 20 years, 20 plus years, we heard John Cena say, never give up, never surrender, never give up. And at the end of the day, he gives up. Now, I heard that he was on the Cody Rhodes podcast, and he kind of explained himself. But there's other ways you could have done that, okay? There's other ways you could have ended one of the most legendary careers in wrestling history. And they just decided to go the route that a lot of people are upset about. Now, let's be honest. There's a lot of people on the internet that would have been upset about regardless of John Cena losing overall. Okay? I say you should have had John Cena win. Okay? Gunter losing this match wouldn't have hurt Gunter too much. Okay? You could have had Gunter come back and get his heat back. You know, choke out R-Truth or something, you know? Have John Cena have his, have a speech. Have his farewell address. The guy was the workhorse for the company since for over 20 years. And you just decided that's the way. The final image we have of John Cena is just... but can't change the past. I might have a TARDIS, but I can't go back in time because that's only a bobblehead. But that is... You know, we're doing a speed run of the first half because I talked for about 20 minutes and then my body was like, hey, bro, we need to step out. So, you know, stomach issues. But it's okay now. So, yeah, tell me what you think about John Cena retiring or how he retired. I think if he comes back and, like, gets inducted to the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania, that'd be great. That'd be kind of like a little cap, a little change of momentum kind of, you know. This is not the last time we've seen John Cena in the WWE. Obviously, he's going to make appearances. He'll probably still do a bunch of Make-A-Wish stuff, but yeah, a lot of people are upset, but like I said, a lot of people are upset regardless of what happens. Let me know what you think about the whole tournament. The last time is now tournament. Let me know what you think about just the state of wrestling in 2025. We are just 11 days away till 2026, and pretty much everything's wrapped up now. We have Worlds End AEW show in is that next week? Right? That's not today, right? No, that's next week. AEW Worlds End, that's on the 27th. Yeah, so that's next week. But speaking about AEW, before we move on, see that transition? I'm doing better at transition, folks. Sports Illustrated posted their AEW Pro Wrestling Awards, and it is very AEW top heavy. Very AEW top heavy. I'm going to go over the awards real quick. Promotion of the Year, AEW. Okay, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Female Wrestler of the Year, Mercedes Moné. I don't agree with that. No. Male Wrestler of the Year, Hangman Adam Page. I don't agree with that. That was John Cena. Tag Team of the Year, FTR. I can see that. Okay, I'll give him that. Best in the Ring Will Ospreay. Now, I'm not a huge Ospreay fan, the flip, the flops, and everything. Best in the ring. That's very broad. That's very broad. Ospreay has his own style. Do some people think it's the best? Yeah. Do I think it's the best? No. Best on the mic, Timeless Tony Storm. I like her on the mic. Breakout Wrestler of the Year, Kyle Fletcher. I can definitely see that. Storyline of the Year, Hangman Adam Page's redemption arc. Don't agree with that. I think John Cena's retirement was definitely storyline of the year. Rivalry of the Year, Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley. And Show of the Year, AEW Double or Nothing. I don't agree with that. But I don't work for Sports Illustrated just yet. So very AEW top heavy. Pretty much everything was AEW. All Elite, Mercedes, Hangman. They really, no WWE. Not one single thing WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Wow. What was hold on. What was the nominees? Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Awards. Because, nothing was WWE. It was all AEW dominated. You know? Oh, John Cena got the Legacy Award. Oh, okay. Well, that changes nothing. Wow. Okay, so yeah. It looks like they just watched Wednesdays and Fridays, I guess. Jeez, what a AEW heavy award that was. But hey, it's their awards. If they want to give out the awards to whoever they want, it's their brand. My brand, the Brat Said That brand, is going to do their first ever Brat Said That Awards. That's coming on Christmas. Probably going to be the next time we're on. We're going to take a little Christmas break, a little 5-day break. But we talked about that. We talked a little bit about wrestling. Hey, spoilers. I don't know if it aired just yet. Maybe it's going to air tonight. MJF has returned, and he is inserting himself into the AEW World Championship match at World's End against Samoa Joe, Shane Strickland, and Hangman Page. Now, MJF, let me tell you something about MJF. Huge MJF fan, okay? Besides the whole fact that he's from Long Island, just like me, I liked it. He's one of the best on the mic. He's got not the best move set per se. You know, nothing he really does is mind-blowing. But he is one of the youngest talented people out there. He had a very lengthy title reign. I think he's still the longest AEW champion of all time. But he's kind of fell off this year. And not much happened. I know he was in Happy Gilmore too, so shout out to him for that. But, you know, I was really excited for that bid war of 24. When he was going to become a free agent and it was going to become, you know, bidding war between WWE and AEW. You know, I was thinking, oh, maybe we'll see him at the Rumble. Maybe it'll be the Raw after WrestleMania. But no, he signs back with AEW and comes back with a shitty tattoo. So that's MJF, and then this whole year with the Hurt Business, I don't know. But hey, if you want to take 2026 AEW into a new direction, have MJF as heavyweight champion, I'm all for that, Tony Khan. I am all for that. Speaking about new directions, Sting's son, the legendary Sting, probably one of your favorite wrestler, his son has been making his pro wrestling debut. So, Steve Borner Jr. is doing a lot of good stuff. He's got a dark match on AEW on December 10th. Why do you bring this up? Because it's a talk show, and I like new generation. So, hopefully Steve Borner Jr., it's hard. You know, sometimes it's hard. You got Sting's a legendary wrestler. So, it's very hard to fill those boots. But we see it time for time with Charlotte, Cody Rhodes, and others. So, you know, Steve Borner Jr., hopefully everything works out for him. He's got the look. He looks just like his dad when he was younger. So that is insane. Speaking about sons and fathers and daughters, Santino Marella, they had the whole NXT cage match against TNA. Stax and Ariana Grace turn on Santino. Ariana Grace turned on her own father. Oh, I could never do that. You know, I could never imagine kicking my dad in the nether legions. But I do like this feud between Stacks and Santino. Bear Bronson, he won a Battle Royal to become the #1 contender for the TNA World Championship. He just made his debut, so they are fast pushing him to the World Championship scene. I think it's Kazarian's the World Champion. So we'll see Bear Bronson. I like Bear Bronson too. I like a lot of stuff. I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and hate. Now, before we move on to the MMA section, UFC boxing section, I know I'm in no position to talk about what other retired wrestlers talk about, like actual wrestlers, like, bookers, bro, and wrestlers that have been on Sunday Night Heat a lot. They like to crap all over this business. And I'm done and I'm sick and tired of it. Wrestling isn't a new, it's like every generation's got to have the generation before them just crap on them. Oh, back in my day, we wouldn't have done this. Back in my day, we wouldn't have done that. Well, things change. Life goes on, okay? We're not the same generation we were when I first started watching wrestling in the 90s. We're not even the same generation we were in the mid-2000s. We're going to 2026. These guys have been retired for 10, 15 years. They get on a podcast and they just talk down about the product. Every single little thumbnail you see, trash, or horrible, or bad for business, or is this that, or is this that. Just stop. I mean, you don't have to love everything, but don't be so negative. This world is so crazy right now. We don't need unnecessary negativity. That was good. So, you of course, YouTube, podcasts, you can spew your ideas, your opinions, and post it on the internet. But, I watch these guys and I'm just like, they're such haters. They're such haters. It's like, so you're not in the business anymore. You don't need to be so hateful about what's going on. Now, there's some justifications, you can kind of talk about how Triple H hasn't been a good booker. That's understandable. But, I saw one thing about, Oba Femi. Oba Femi is overrated. The dude just made his debut. Give it time to sizzle. Let the things play out. Wrestling fans are just like, gimme. But they don't let the show play out. You don't leave a really good movie in the middle because you're like, oh, this hasn't gotten to the mystery solved or anything. You wait till the end, and then you can give your opinion, But I digress. So that is the wrestling section of the day. Talked a lot more about this than I did yesterday, so I'm very, very glad. Want to go over to the MMA UFC. So I did the show yesterday. Almost did the show yesterday. Wasn't feeling good. Stepped off. Got to watch a Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. Wow. Now, that was a Bratwurst Award winner, but it's not Monday, so I can't give it out today. Anthony Joshua, former heavyweight champion, knocked out Jake Paul in the 6th round. The last 2 rounds, Jake Paul just kept getting on his knees. Now, I know I wasn't going to talk about Jake Paul and these Fugazi fights, but I got to talk about it because it just happened. Anthony Joshua knocked him out 6th round, broke his jaw. I think that's it for Jake and these fights. I don't want to speak negative. It takes a lot of balls, even if it's Fugazi or scripted, or to still get in there. Because Anthony Joshua was throwing punches. Jake was dodging them and moving. So, he went in there, he fought. So Jake Paul, I might have called you Fugazi boxer, and I still am. But you're in a little bit of respect, Nah, it probably doesn't mean anything to you. You're a multimillionaire, and I'm just a chubby dude with a camera phone. But, even, Babe was like, this is a really bad fight. But, boxing needs to do something, okay? Boxing needs to change. Stop these celebrity fights. Stop this whole, thing that they've been doing. Also on the card, the legendary Anderson Silva defeated Tyron Woodley by knockout. I've always, well, not always been a fan of Anderson Silva, because I remember when he fought Chael Sonnen the first time, I was rooting very heavily for Chael Sonnen. But Anderson Silva is on my top Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters. So, that was a kind of a Soul Connection. Stop with the Soul Connection. I paid good money for Connection. Yeah, I actually finally fixed it with my computer. I figured what was wrong with it. It's old, so, yeah. Sorry, I just saw something. But one thing I did want to look back at, I did this yesterday. I didn't really like how it was, but I looked back at, like, all the UFC events this year, just like the numbered event. Because, like, growing up, I can tell you all these different UFC events, like, 100, 107, 126. I can tell you who main evented that. I can't tell you anything that happened this year. So, I just want to look real quick, So, 2025 started, Makachev versus Moicano. And then you got Marab versus Nurmagomedov. Then you got Duplessis versus Strickland. I'm not going to do this again. I did this yesterday. I didn't really like the segment. But 2025 is wrapped up for MMA. No fights. UFC, I told Babe, hey, no more UFC until the 24th of January. And she almost did a backflip because she's not a big UFC fan. She's not a UFC fan at all. So, but I'm always like, hey, we'll cuddle when the UFC fights are over. But speaking about legendary UFC fighters, Christine Cyborg is once again dominant in her fights. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Cyborg because of the PED usage, but Christine Cyborg is one of the greatest women's fighters of all time. I remember back in 2009, her fight against Gina Carano in Strikeforce that kind of put like the women on the map. So she defeated Sarah Collins via submission, rear naked choke at a PFL championship show. So, Cyborg, hopefully see her back in the UFC. I doubt it because Dana White and her are not very... I don't want to do that. Not very cool with each other, So, Cyborg, she's been a dominant fighter. She's only lost a few times. I remember that fight against Amanda Nunes in, I think, 2015 when they fought just... Less than a minute, she got knocked out. But Amanda Nunes is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Yeah, that snapped her, 20-fight winning streak. Yeah, 51 seconds. Oh, 2018. I'm sorry. 2018. See, I'm getting old. Then she went to Bellator. Hasn't lost since then. Just dominant. Hopefully she fights somebody I'd like to see her fight like a Kayla Harrison or, somebody like that. But Cyborg's awesome. Shout out to Cyborg. Yeah, she is just dominant. Yeah, her defeating Gina Carano in the first round. Yeah. I love Strikeforce. I miss Strikeforce. I wish Strikeforce would come back. Because Strikeforce was a cool alternative to UFC. It had, Nate Diaz and, Chung Lee and Gina Carano, Cyborg, Fedor, Luke Rockhold, Josh Thompson, Gilbert Melendez, Dan Henderson, even Ronda Rousey, Overeem. Yeah, that was fun times, man. And who can forget that Strikeforce brawl between Jake Shields and Mayhem Miller when the scrap pack of the Diaz brothers. Yeah, come on, man. That was the best stuff. Bring it back. Hasn't been around since, I think, 2013, right? Yeah, ugh. But, anyway, do you want to talk about former WWE wrestler Razar from AOP? He this time with bare knuckle fighting, so I'm excited to see him. His real name is, oh my god, I can't pronounce this. Gizem Salmani. By the way, I'm listening to the NWO theme song back in the background. I forgot how epic that theme song was. That's a Wolfpack theme song. Wolfpack is back. It's mass destruction. But yeah, shout out to him. Hey, we got the same birthday. So, hey, go my fellow Gemini. Go my fellow Gemini. And he's had some MMA experience. He's 4-2. Not a bad record at all. Last fought in 2014. So, we'll see him in bare knuckle fighting. Well, we talked about WWE. We talked about UFC. NFL Week 16 is here, and we're going to talk about Week 16. Seahawks pull off a historical overtime win against the Rams. Seattle came back from a 16-point fourth quarter deficit to beat the Rams 38-37 in overtime with a decisive 2-point conversion under the NFL new overtime rules. This win boosts Seattle NFC rest and playoff positioning dramatically. So, Week 16 is here tomorrow. We're going to look over the games. We're going to look at the standings. Football is coming down. We got 2 more weeks left of the regular season. Eagles and Commanders. And, of course, go to my Twitter. Chad Le Gepette, NFL picks. I don't think I posted it on Twitter. Chad, you didn't post them on Twitter? Come on. Go follow me on Twitter. Brat Said That X. Follow me on all social media platforms. Packers and Bears, that is a pivotal game for those two. Those two are probably the biggest rivalry in football. Chargers and Cowboys, let's go. Chargers, Vikings and Giants, 2 teams you couldn't care about. Bengals and Dolphins, Buccaneers and Panthers. This is an important game. They are both 7-7, tied for a top of the NFC South. Okay? I think the Buccaneers has the advantage. The Panthers need to win this. This is an important game. Jets and Saints, that game is trash. Bills versus Browns. Bills need to win this game. Chiefs and Titans, both teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Jaguars and Broncos. This can be a really good... This can be a Super Bowl right here. Wait a second. Okay, I don't think it can be a Super Bowl. Because I think the Jaguars are in the AFC. But it can never be an AFC Championship game. So that is going to be a really good game. That might be a playoff game that we might see in a few weeks. Falcons and Cardinals, trash teams. Raiders and Texans. The Raiders have a chance to end their 8-game losing streak, but it's not going to happen. Steelers and Lions. Both teams are trying to make the playoffs at 8-6. I am so surprised that Aaron Rodgers in his possible final year might make the playoffs. Patriots and Ravens. This is going to be a good game. Ravens are not doing as good as they should do because Cousin Lamar was out with the injury. And I say Cousin Lamar because their last names are Jackson. And 49ers and Colts. Colts were looking good. 49ers not so. And of course 49ers are looking good. The standings. Man, the standings have changed a lot. The Patriots are still on top of the AFC East. But the Bills are knomping at their feet. Winning 3 straight, 10-4. Actually, I want to go to the NFL.com standings. Because they say who's eliminated and who's clinched. But I can't wait. Playoff football. First time playoff football will be here for the Brat Said That show. So I am excited. Like I said, I love when you go on the actual website of a league like WWE.com or NFL.com for example. And it's just not as quick and fast as Google. I can pick the standings off on Google right here. Boom, bang. How you doing? And I go NFL.com and it's do you accept these cookies? What am I, the Cookie Monster? No. Let's get to the standings, folks. I got people not watching the show. But it's okay. I digress. I like to do the show because I feel very comfortable. And it's actually, what's doing the show has helped me with? My comedy. Because I can talk and ramble for a very long time. And on comedy, you know, when I do comedy, open mic, say a wise guys, you get 3 minutes. Now, 3 minutes is a lot of time, okay? That's what I tell Babe. You know, so and me just talking, we've been talking the last 25 minutes, and I'm still halfway through. So I'm going to go to ESPN, because apparently ESPN is much better. All right, yeah. So, New England and Buffalo Bills, that AFC East race is just very close. Miami, you're out. Dolphins, you're out. Wait, that is Miami. The Jets, you're out. The Steelers and Ravens, very close race. Bengals, you're out. Browns, you're out. The AFC South, Jaguars, Texans, and Colts, all battling for a playoff spot. Tennessee Titans, you're out. The Broncos have clinched. They have clinched. The Chargers are trying to win a playoff spot too. 10-4, 12-2. So, Chiefs, you're out. I can't believe I'm saying that. But the Kansas City Chiefs are out. Patrick Mahomes is on the sideline. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, you're out. Which I've joked about, but I've never had a problem with like them showing like Taylor Swift on TV. You know, like I make jokes about it, but like, you know, she's supporting her man. We need more of that. Support your man. Support your women. Support your significant other. Eagles and Cowboys. The Cowboys are still in the playoffs, but with a 1% chance. Commanders, you're out. Giants, you're out. Bears, Packers, and Lions, all battling for the NFC North. Vikings, you're out. You're eliminated. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Panthers. This is one I am focusing closely on. Both coming off losses. So, this is a huge next 2 weeks for the Panthers. And then both Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams have clinched a playoff. And the 49ers are looking to make the playoffs. Cardinals, you're gone. So, it is the most exciting time in sports. Okay? Right now, the American Football Conference. I don't know how many teams are going to be in the playoffs. But the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, and Steelers are the top 4. Chargers, Bills, Texans, Colts, and Ravens. That is the AFC. NFC, Seattle, I think it's clinched the number 1 seed, which is crazy. Bears, Eagles, and Buccaneers. Buccaneers win tiebreak or Carolina base percentage in common games. And the Rams have clinched a playoff spot. Then San Francisco, Green Bay, Detroit, Carolina, and the Cowboys. So, a lot of teams are going to clinch this week. A lot of teams are going to be eliminated. I am excited. Yeah. And, you know, the Raiders, Titans, and the Giants, all 2-12. We're facing the Giants, I think, next week. I don't want to win. I want the, you know, let me digress when I say this. A lot of players or teams get very upset when they don't get the first seed. But, like, the first 4 picks are equally sometimes just as good. You know, just because you got the first pick in something doesn't mean you're out completely. You know, even if the Raiders get the 3rd pick, or the 2nd pick, or the 4th pick, they can still pick a player they haven't in their history of drafting, because they've been a horrible drafting team, but they still have relatively good amount of percentage to get a player that can help their team. But I can't wait till the draft. I'm looking close in the draft. I know we got Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy. I don't know if he's declared for the draft yet, but when he does, we will. But that is football, NFL level. We're going to talk about college football. But one thing we want to talk about now is the World Baseball Classic. We got to talk about all sports. And yes, baseball is in the off season right now. But the 2026 World Baseball Classic is happening in March of next year. And we got to talk about the United States because we are America. And that is our team. Let's see, United States Baseball National Team. I know that Roe Kolaski, the guy that we want to draft next year for the White Sox. I think he's on the team, right? I don't know. United States 2026 World Baseball Classic roster. Notable names: Clay Holmes, Paul Skeens, Tariq Skubal, Cal Raleigh should have won the MVP. Gardner Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr., PCA, Pete Crow, Armstrong, the he's not the captain. There's only one captain. But Aaron Judge is on the outfield. I could have sworn there was more. Or maybe that was, so that is like, World Baseball Classic. We know last year was, oh my God, there's so many different, like, names and numbers just throwing at me right now. But Japan won last year. It came down to Otani and Trout. Or was that 2 years ago? Do they do this every year or every 2 years? 6 iteration, quarterfinal. Japan is the defending champion. Okay, yeah. In 2023, so they do this every 3 years. Wow. Yeah, I remember 2023. Yeah, it came down to Otani and Trout, because they were teammates at the time. Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, we got like Brazil, Canada, Colombia, Cuba. Now, these Dominican Republic teams, Puerto Rican teams, they got a lot of players that can win. A lot of the top name players. Japan, they've been dominant. Wow, I didn't know Australia had a baseball team. Who was on the Australian baseball team? Nobody we know. So, yeah, that's a World Baseball Classic. I don't know. There's not really much to talk about in baseball right now. It's the off season. No big moves has happened. NFL, MLB news. Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, so, Okay, so, I do want to bring this up. The late Tyler Skaggs from the Los Angeles Angels, he passed away a few years ago. I think his family sued the Angels, and they just settled that. Yeah, he died, I think, of like an overdose or something. Oxycodone. Yeah, that's white powder. Yeah. Found a mixture of fentanyl, oxycodone, and alcohol. That's crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy. But yeah, they settled out of court. So, prayers to his family. That's always tough to lose a child, especially, losing these athletes young to fentanyl and just losing anybody young to fentanyl. That really needs to stop. That really it's just taking so many good people away from us. But, oh man, whose birthday is today? Happy birthday, Captain America. Not Steve Rogers. Who are they talking about? David Wright. Yeah, hey, New York Mets, David Wright. Okay, so I want to go back to the football because the football Hall of Fame ballot. Oh, no, not football. We're going to go to basketball because that basketball Hall of Fame ballot just got posted, and I do want to talk about that. So, yeah, we talked about MLB, NHL. Perfect. We're going to talk about the NBA. Shout out to the New York Knicks. They won the NBA Emirates Cup. Now, should they celebrate the win? Absolutely. Winning anything is great. Now, should they hang up banners and say, this is the first New York championship since the 70s? No. Okay? Stop it. Yeah, it's not. It's a great win. It's a little fun thing to do in the middle of the season, but, celebrate it. I'm excited for the Knicks. New Yorker and me. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but, it's a little silly thing. Have a little display at Madison Square Garden, but don't hang up a banner. But there is talk about an expansion, Seattle and Las Vegas. Now, as a Vegas resident, there is nothing more than I would love to see a Las Vegas team. We got the Raiders, even though they're trash. We got the Aces, phenomenal. Golden Knights, phenomenal. We're going to get the Athletics in a few years. Let's make the 4-piece. Vegas is a sports city now. When I moved here in 2012, 2012, there was none of it. No Allegiant Stadium, no T-Mobile Arena. I've seen it grow before my 4 eyes, and I love it. So, athletics are coming in 2028, around 2028. So let's bring a Las Vegas team. Las Vegas Outlaws. We already have the Aces, so we can do something. Anytime I play NBA 2K, which is one of the very few video games that I actually play, it's like NBA 2K, the show, in the sports, or like, Far Cry. I love Far Cry. Or like Grand Theft Auto, or Watch Dogs. I hope they make another Watch Dogs, because I didn't really like the last Watch Dogs. I liked the first 2, but I didn't like the last one. But, yeah. Seattle, they have the Supersonics. They got the Kraken now. They got the Seahawks. They got the Mariners this close to making the World Series. So, I would love to go to Seattle. I've never been to Seattle. I would like to go get some coffee, even though I don't drink coffee. Expansion's good. Look at us. We got the Vegas Golden Knights. Very first year in existence, we went to the Stanley Cup, only to lose to those buttheads of the Capitals. But, especially Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. You already got the venue, so you don't got to build anything. Share that with the Golden Knights. A lot of sports teams do. I think the Aces play in like the Michelob Light Arena or something, just down the street. So, that'd be a cool expansion. Speaking about expansion, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he said he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay with the Bucks. He's going to worry about the team, get healthy, stay with the Bucks. That is cool. Giannis is probably one of the greatest Milwaukee Bucks of all time. You tell me what you think. But the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame announces eligible candidates for the class of 2026. Now, notable new candidates for the basketball class of 2026 include the 1996 USA Basketball Women's National Team, Mike D'Antoni, Jamal Crawford, Elena Deladon, Blake Griffin, Joe Johnson, Candace Parker, Bruce Pearl, and Kelvin Sampson. Merv Albert, Mark Few, Doc Rivers, and Amari Stoudemire are among returning eligible candidates. So, the finalists in class will be announced February 9th. So, out of that whole new list of people, I see Blake Griffin going in. I've always liked Blake Griffin, I think it's Blake Griffin. I don't think he ever won a championship. Blake Griffin is probably the front runner of getting the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's ever won a championship. He was on the Clippers, Pistons, Nets, and ended with Celtics. But, first pick in the draft in 2009, missed. Sports Illustrated called him one of the NBA 15 greatest rookies of all time. We all know when he jumped over the hood of the car, but still jumped over the car in the slam dunk contest. Yeah, so do you think Blake Griffin has a legendary career? Let's ask the producer. Does Blake Griffin have a Hall of Fame career? Let's see what my co-host says. Short answer, he's right on the Hall of Fame bubble. But yes, he has a very real case. Let's break it down Brat Said That style. 6-time NBA All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, NBA Rookie of 2011 unanimously, All-Rookie First Team, 2-time Slam Dunk City, key star of the Lob City Clippers, a top 10 player in the league from 2011-2015, best power forward in basketball. What hurts his case? No championships. Injuries shorten his prime. Career totals are good, not jaw-dropping. No major international or Olympic resume. So, Hall of Fame verdict. Yes, Hall of Famer. Not first ballot. gets in after a few years. Okay. So, here's Chad Le Gepette's take. If Chris Webber and Grant Hill are Hall of Famers, Blake Griffin belongs in that conversation. Not legendary longevity, but legendary peak. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's see. I want to see out of the nominees. Let's see who they think we're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Candace Parker. Definitely think so. Elena Delle Donne. Returning or other nominees. Let's see. What do you think? Who do you think will get in? Who do you think will get into the... Let's see. I said, who do you think is going to get in the Hall? Here's my prediction. Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne. Those two are probably the heaviest hitters on the ballot. Strong contender. Doc Rivers as a coach. Definitely. Mark D'Antoni. Possible competitive candidates. Blake Griffin, Joe Johnson, Amari Stoudemire. The 1996 U.S. Women's Olympic team likely to be honored as a team rather than individual. So, his best guess. Probable inductees. Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne, Doc Rivers, Mark Few, Mike D'Antoni. Contenders, 50-50. Blake Griffin, Joe Johnson, Amari Stoudemire. Longer shot or special case, Bruce Pearl, Calvin Sampson, 1996 U.S. Women's Team. So, I love Hall of Fames. I've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame. I want to go to the Basketball Hall of Fame. They do need to make a Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And they need to make it in Vegas and give me a job as a curator. Because if I can't book the show, let me at least be in control of the history. So, we can talk about NBA. We can talk about the standings. Not much has happened. I know Christmas time is always a special time for basketball. Pistons and Knicks and Raptors, they're still in top of the Eastern. Thunder, 25-3 now. The Nuggets win 6 in a row. Spurs win the 5 in a row. The Mavericks, 11-7. Okay. All right. So we're doing it. We're doing it. We'll get off footing, and then we'll come back after the All-Star break and make the playoffs. Maybe a playoff, a play-in game. Any NBA news that I haven't seen? Rockets expand to talks to buy. Move the Connecticut Sun. Okay. Nothing too crazy. Anthony Davis still talks about getting traded. NBA is enacting several sports betting policies. Okay. So NBA is in a desperate pursuit for a difference maker. So we'll see. Anthony Edwards. NBA seating up. Good for them. I do want to talk about, we're going to move on to the NHL. My boy, the greatest, the kid, Sidney Crosby, is just a few, Sidney Crosby is making scoring noise. Pittsburgh legend continues climbing the Penguins' all-time scoring chart, growing comparison to franchise great Mario Lemieux. 2 to go. Sidney Crosby is just 2 points away from passing Mario Lemieux. That was 3 days ago. He is. Okay, so this is 3 weeks ago, 3 days ago. So, Crosby chasing record. 2 to go. Sidney Crosby now sits 1 point away. So, he is the greatest Penguin of all time. He is the greatest NHL player of my generation. And I don't care what you say. 3-time NBA champion. We're going to talk about him. Because Sidney Crosby, now, growing up, I don't like... First pick in the 2005... see, this is weird. Hockey has a weird, Wikipedia layout than other sports. It doesn't show you, their accomplishments. They show it. So, NHL All-Rookie Team 2006 All-Star Game. Hart Memorial Trophy. Just NHL's Best SB Awards, World Championship for Canada, CHL, just overall. He's got the Order of Nova Scotia, everybody. He's got the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. He's got the Order of Canada, youngest player to win a World Championship. Assists and points in a season by a rookie, most games played, most playoff points, most playoff assists, most playoffs in the Stanley Cup Finals. First rookie to Sidney Crosby is a GOAT. We don't got to worry about when he gets into the Hall of Fame nominations. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, I love Sidney Crosby. The Penguins, let's see how they're doing. Let's see how my Penguins are doing. I don't know. The Metropolitan, okay, so they're not doing so good. They're 14-10-9. 7 losses in a row. Maybe I talked a little bit too soon. We'll check on our favorite teams. The Blue Jackets, 14-14-6. Buffalo Sabres, hey, they won 4 in a row. I think ever since I talked bad about the Buffalo Sabres, they're on a 4-game winning streak. So, Brat Said That changes lives, everybody. Western Division, the Avalanche, still dominant. Hey, the Wild is 6 wins in a row. The Golden Knights, the Ducks, they're quacking right behind you there, Knights. They are 42 points. Oilers, 40 points. And the Kraken, come on, Kraken. 4 losses in a row, 30 points. So, we talked about franchises. They were in the playoffs a few years ago. So the NHL, he's heating up. Now, we are going to move over. We talked so much. We still got a lot to talk about. The NCAA football playoffs are here. And if I can find, before I start the show, I definitely need to get everything in line first. So last night we had Oklahoma versus Alabama. I was watching this at the gym. Yes, me and Babe, we signed up for the gym. We're excited. We're gonna bring in 2026 like savages. Where is? Oh, come on! I don't want to know all this. Give me the NCAA college playoff. All right. Alabama won over Oklahoma. So what does that mean? I don't know. They move on, and I don't think Oklahoma does. Wow, really? This is annoying. Why? There's so many words in the world. Hey, W's and W's, kids. So let's see. Yes, Alabama won over Oklahoma 34-24. They are moving on to face Indiana on the first in the Rose Bowl. Tonight, a lot has happened already. Texas A&M versus Miami. It looks like Miami won 10-3. Jeez. Miami's moving on to face Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on the 31st. Ole Miss and Tulane are facing off right now. We'll look at what's going on in Ole Miss versus Tulane. Ole Miss is winning 7-0 against Tulane. Then we got today Oregon versus James Madison. And yeah, so I guess whoever wins Ole Miss Tulane going to face Georgia on the 1st. Whoever wins between Oregon and James Madison is facing Texas Tech on the 1st. The Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, no Cereal Bowl. They have the Dr. Pepper Bowl. Who's fighting in the Dr. Pepper Bowl? Dr. Pepper Bowl. Dr. Pepper Bowl. I don't know who's facing the Dr. Pepper Bowl. Oh, they haven't had one since... Oh, Texas Tech and BYU. But that was last year, right? No, that was a few days ago. Oh, hey. So Texas Tech are the Dr. Pepper Bowl champions. So, shout out to them. Anyways, one thing I do want to talk about. So we talked about sports. We're done with sports. We're done with sports. If anybody has any sports-related questions to talk about, I do want to talk about 2 things before we get off. The first ever Brat Said That awards are done. And we're going to have the complete list posted on Christmas. Now, there are 4 categories, or 4 genres. It is, I've said it before, but I'm saying it now, sports, like sports, that is broad, pro wrestling, combat, and miscellaneous. Now, in the sports section, we have Team of the Year, Men's Athlete of the Year, Women's Athlete of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Game of the Year. In wrestling, we have Men's Wrestler of the Year, Women's Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year, Show of the Year, and Promotion of the Year. In combat, we have Men's Fighter of the Year, Women's Fighter of the Year, Knockout of the Year, Submission of the Year, and Fight of the Year. In the miscellaneous category, we have the Bratwurst of the Year, which is already locked up. That one is me personal. I already have the Bratwurst of the Year. I'm not going to reveal it until the show comes. It's going to be airing on the 1st of January. I'm going to have a nice little penguin suit on. Movie of the Year, Television Show of the Year, Podcast of the Year, and Comedian of the Year. And then we're going to have a little Brat Said That in memorial look back about all the performers, sports stars that we lost. So I'm going to post that on Christmas, give you a little Christmas present. There's one thing I do want to talk about, since we always like finally end this show on like a pop culture, non-sports talk. One of my favorite competition shows just recently ended their season, Ink Master. Now, if you haven't seen, I have a lot of tattoos. I love tattoos, and I've loved Ink Master. Ink Master has been on for 17 seasons. It's changed judges and hosts. It started with Dave Navarro, Oliver Peck, and Chris Nunez. Now it has Joel Madden from Good Charlotte fame, Ryan Ashley, Nico Hurtado, and DJ Trammell. Now this one, like every season's always different. Now they're doing Battle of the Cities or States. What is it? Hometown Heroes. All over, the world. The guy who I wanted to win, Matt Mooney, he's from Melbourne, Australia. I picked him because Matt went on to win the show. So, shout out to Matt Mooney. His tattoos were amazing. He does a lot of Japanese. It came down to Matt Mooney, Isnard from Ireland, Luca from Canada, and Seth from Pittsburgh. Babe and I watch it every morning because it airs. It was like Wednesday, but you can watch these things on like Paramount Plus earlier in the day. So I watched it. Came down to the final 4. Seth gets eliminated first. Luca. Then it came down to Ishnard and Matt. 2-2 tied up. Coming down to the last vote for DJ Trammell. Gave it to Matt Mooney. So shout out to everybody that was in Ink Master. It's one of my favorite shows. Very rushed this season. Only 10 episodes. Didn't have a live season finale. So Matt Mooney was crowned the winner of the season, being the first Australian contestant to win the title. So one thing I would love, free tattoos. I know my buddy Brian was on that. Maybe I'll get a little quote from him about the show, about how it's run. I remember he was on the one with Jimmy Snaz, and I don't know. I'm gonna message him right now and see how it was. Maybe he'll answer me real quick. But yeah, so that's really gonna be the show. I'm excited. We're gonna go see Christmas lights today. And of course my computer doesn't want to work, but hey, this is a great show. I'm feeling much better than yesterday. Hurry up quick, I'm live. How was your time on Ink Master? Tell me everything now. So we'll see if he answers. I'll talk about it in a few more minutes, see if he gives me a response. But I don't know when we're going to be back on. Christmas we'll be at Babe's house with the dogs and my mom. So we're focused on that. Christmas Eve, I gotta work. We're closing early. We close at 6. Gotta stay to 7 to clean up. And yeah. So guys, that's it. Brian hasn't answered me back. Maybe he's running with the Bulls. But hey, let me know how your 2025 has been. Mine's been good. A lot of good things have happened. Family is healthy. We're good. We're going to 2026 together. So, guys, that is it for the show. And, yeah, what do we got back on now? We got the Nitro Girls. All right? So, guys, that's my show. Hope everybody had a great day. Enjoy football tomorrow. Playoffs are heating up. No MFA, no UFC, no MMA. I'm going to go in the shower. I'm going to go look at some Christmas lights. So, guys, enjoy the show. We'll be back on Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Maybe in the morning. I'll reveal the Brat Said That awards. Brian, you're not answering me. You've not been active for 13 hours. Guys, I love you all. So enjoy college football today. You know, have a bologna and cheese sandwich, but don't hit the gym. So guys, love each other, love yourselves, and love sports. Babe, thank you for liking and hearting this. I will see you soon. Give Rolly and Penny a big kiss from me. Guys, good night, and I'll see you on Christmas.